I'm just moving on now to pensions because there's been many changes in the last few years. I'm not going to go back and go through all of the changes, but we've had a period of restrictions on the amount of tax relief you can get on contributions to a pension scheme for high earners. And high earners has changed definition in the last 2 and a bit years. It started off as somebody who was earning £150,000 a year, and then it was reduced in December 2009 to a person who was earning £130,000 a year. And we've just been through a period of transitional provisions. And what that has meant is that the maximum contributions on which a high earner can claim tax relief has been £20,000, unless it was their regular monthly contributions, in which case it was protected. In some cases where people were making annual contributions, there were then some other provisions introduced which allowed them up to a maximum of £30,000 of pension contributions on which they could get tax relief. As Steve mentioned, there are new rules from 6 April 2011, and one of those new rules is a reduction in the annual allowance. The annual allowance is the amount you could put into your pension fund, and the maximum was £250,000, subject to the transition provision rules. That is being reduced to £50,000. So from the 6th of April onwards, the maximum you can put into your pensions fund and claim high rate tax relief is in fact £50,000 per annum. However, the good news is they've now reintroduced something that was around many years ago, being the carry forward of unused relief. So if you don't use all of your £50,000, and you haven't done in the previous 3 years, then you can carry that forward and use it in this year. So from 6 April 2011, potentially you could put in £200,000 into your pension fund if you haven't put any contributions in during the last 3 years. One thing to watch for is that pension funds have something called a pension input period, and that governs the timing of the contributions. Now again, I'm not going to go through this in great detail because different pension schemes have different pension input periods. But what you need to watch is when find out is when your pension input period ends. It might be on the 5th of April, it might be on the 6th of April, it might be some other date. And that will govern when these new rules come in and affect your pension fund. The other change is coming in next year from 6th April 2012, and that's the reduction in the lifetime allowance. At the moment, you can have £1.8 million into your pension fund and not put any more contributions in. That is being reduced from 6th April 2012 to 1.5 million. So what are the planning points? Well, I suppose the first one is, if you are sort of around the £1.5 million mark, you need to put the maximum in before 6 April 2012 to get above that limit when it comes in 2012. And again, it's subject to all the contribution provisions, but you can fund past the 1.5 million up till 6 April 2012. You want to utilise your unused relief brought forward for the past 3 years, from 3 years up to 2010-11. You can use years and your 11-12 contribution, so you should be looking at utilising those. I've already mentioned the pension input period. Speak to your advisor and get some calculations done as to what you can further contribute to your pension scheme. And now the fourth area that I'm going to deal with is research and development expenditure. As you can see from the slide, from the 1st of April 2011, then if a company, a small and medium-sized enterprise, which I'll explain in a minute, incurs the right type of expenditure on research and development, then for tax purposes, you don't just get £1 of tax relief for your expenditure, per pound of expenditure, you get £2 from the 6th of April, which is a great relief. And more than that, from next year, April 2012, you're going to get £2.25 of tax relief for every £1 you spend. So how can you claim this? Well, first of all, what's an SME, a small or medium-sized enterprise? Well, this is a European definition that's used, And it's a company with less than 500 employees. It's quite a big company. And either its turnover is less than 100 million euros or its balance sheet value is less than 86 million euros. I think that's the easiest way to define it, that if you're researching something that does not exist anywhere in the world, then you probably qualify for research and development relief. That's a run through 4 areas, and I'll now just hand back to Steve, who will round up.